what is being created, and you've been showing these visuals of the PM along with these very refurbished beautiful photos of the new project which is going to be inaugurated soon. I think there is a narrative, a historical narrative, which is being created and essentially being changed. When Lutyens Delhi was first created, it was created fusing two very different styles. The burgeoning style was, of course, the Mughal style, which is why you had a lot of these domes, and you had a lot of these jalis, and you had a lot of these chhatris. We have it on authority with people like Barker, Herbert Barker, and Edward Lutyens making notes of the fact that this is the kind of architecture that we want to emulate, because there is a legacy that they want to sort of form, starting from the Mughals and then going to the British, who have heralded modern India. I think there is a concerted effort by the new government to sort of break that, especially because of the fact that there is, reminiscent of Mughal India in that architecture. The dome, the new architecture completely removes that idea. There is no dome, there's no chhatri. What we see, and the person who's designed it, a person called Bimal Patel, said that he's taken it from the sacred yantra, and this is why the whole parliament is triangular. So I think there is a hearkening to history, not just on the fact that the architecture is so deliberately chosen to represent the kind of history that the party in power really wants to focus on. There is also this idea of, from the modern perspective, also picking and choosing their heroes. So, which is why V.D. Savarkar becomes very important. This is also the day when Nehru's funeral was there. So there is a, the coincidence of both these important events, both of which are very important for the party in power. The fact that there is Savarkar. You might want to question why Savarkar. There are many other leaders who are equally important, who probably have a bigger contribution to the Constituent Assembly, to the Constitution, rather than Savarkar. There is a huge question mark to his idea of freedom anyway. But, and coming back to the whole Dalit aspect of it, many people don't know that one of the 15 female members of the Constituent Assembly, a woman called Dakshayani Velayudhan, who was the first female Dalit member to join the Constituent Assembly, her birthday is next month. And nobody sort of seems to keep that in mind when you are inaugurating. And the government had a great opportunity. They have this.
Yeah,
The
that's a
government
very
had a great
important point.
opportunity, and
Sorry, I
I'll
don't
finish
mean to
with that.
interrupt you. No, I wasn't interrupting you. I just wanted to follow up that President Murmu has not been invited because, that's the only thing I take objection to, that to bring in the suggestion of caste. I take your point that this was an opportunity to showcase, to celebrate, sort of the Dalit members of the Constituent Assembly. But that doesn't mean the president wasn't called because of caste. That's all I was saying. But Ruchika, go ahead, complete your point.
Could be, but also just the fact that, I think there is a missed opportunity over here. Considering the government has a Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao policy, it would be great to sort of, for once, keep a woman Constituent Assembly member at the forefront and, sort of inaugurate the whole parliament for her name. But clearly, there is a historical narrative, and Savarkar is therefore, the choice for it. The last point that I want to sort of stress on is that the entire photo ops, the fact that the Prime Minister is going to lay the foundation stone and also, inaugurate the parliament, reeks of this whole empire system, where a king would sort of have his whole architecture built, which would sort of convey his imperial vision. The architecture would be deliberately chosen to convey the kind of idea that he has
But
in his fiction. And
Indira
then
Gandhi did it
accordingly,
too. Indira Gandhi did it too. It's just that 5 years earlier, the president had laid the foundation stone, but Indira Gandhi did it too. That's the point that's important
absolutely.
remembering from history.
Absolutely. I'm not saying that this has not happened before, which is why the whole idea that, there is a hearkening to history. So there is this idea of, creating an empire, wherein the idea is that, okay, this is the architecture of the empire, and the person who's leading the empire is therefore the person who's going to do the photo ops, who's going to lay the foundation stone, and who's therefore also going to
Okay.
inaugurate the
So,
parliament, is how I
so
see it as a historian.
so